Welcome everyone to the Coaster Spot. This is Alex, and this is one of those videos that you never want to have to make, but unfortunately, Six Flags Entertainment Corporation has announced that Six Flags America, right outside of Washington, D.C., will close forever on November 2nd. This also includes their Hurricane Harbor Water Park, which will close right around Labor Day weekend. But unfortunately, this is one that I think we all saw coming. Actually, we made a video about the merger at Six Flags America since we were at the park a day or so after it happened. And we kind of said in that video that we thought that was what was going to happen to this park. I was hoping that maybe they would just sell it off, but unfortunately, the land that the park sits on is very valuable. And if they were to sell it off to another amusement park operator, they would kind of be just competing with themselves. So it is easier to just kill the competition because this also shares the same market as King's Dominion. So it's sad. The park actually dates back to 1974 as a animal park of some sort, as those were all the rage in the 70s. And then in 1982, they started adding rides and was renamed Wild World with the addition of the Wild One. And then in 1994, it was renamed Adventure World. Started adding a bunch of roller coasters. My first visit was back in 1998, the first year of Roar. And then they added a bunch of coasters up until 2001, and that's unfortunately the last time that they ever added a new roller coaster to the park. They, of course, had a couple of relocations since then, but the park has always been underinvested since they changed the name to Six Flags America back in 1999, which the park celebrated its both 50th and 25th anniversaries last year. The only thing I am happy about is that they decided to announce this in May instead of on November 3rd, so the park will have a proper send-off. People have time to go visit again or for their first time, and if you haven't and you live within 2 hours of the park, shame on you. I think it's always been an underrated park. I've always enjoyed my visits. I've had very few bad experiences. While the staff can be a little unprofessional at sometimes, I've always enjoyed it. Always had great rides. I think their coaster collection is really good with 2 excellent wood coasters and a few cool steel coasters and some rarities among them. So that's the news. Let's talk a little bit about the future of all the attractions. And as I mentioned before, the newest coaster dates back to 2001. So what that means is the coasters are all very old. So it's not really economical to move a lot of this stuff given its age, unfortunately. We'll talk about each one individually, though, so let's start with it alphabetically. You have Batwing, which is actually the newest coaster, and it is the last Vekoma Flying Dutchman in the world. And I was already thinking that this was going to be the last year for it, so I guess I was right in some way. So, yay, me. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be trashed. It's done. It's an expensive ride. It was a prototype technology, more or less, and I will probably be doing an entire ride-a-thon day. We might do another one of those fundraising things. That will be with Jeff. But unfortunately, one of the best flying coasters out there will be removed. Firebird is the B&M Flores coaster that originally was a stand-up coaster, and this is totally gone. It's already been moved once. It was the first B&M, and it's 35 years old, so I do not see this being moved once again. However, I do see the trains being used elsewhere. I personally would love it if they took all the floorless conversion stuff and maybe were able to adapt it over to Vortex at Carowinds to give that a better experience and more life into it. But if not, at the very least, I think the trains could probably be used for Rougarou or Patriot. So moving on to the Great Chase, their kid coaster. No one really cares, but I think it has a chance of being moved. Joker's Jinx, the premier Spaghetti Bowl launch coaster, also from 1999, is I think has a small possibility of being moved somewhere, but I don't think it has the biggest chance. It would be really expensive to move with all the wiring that has to be done to that ride. I think it has a better chance for a lot of the components to be reused for similar rides in the chain, the trains, launch motors, and all that stuff. So I think that's how Joker's Jinx will live on. Now moving on to Professor Screammore Skywinder. This originally opened in 1995. It is one of the oldest SLCs and fortunately got a renovation last year. Could the coaster be moved somewhere? Possibly, but I think there's a small chance of that. I could actually see the coaster being sold off without the trains, but I think the trains have a good chance of going to either Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, Lorand, or there's already talks that Canada's Wonderlands was going to get new trains. Maybe that is how that happens. Who knows? Racing Cajun is a simple, portable, traveling crazy mouse. I could see that being moved. I don't know if it would fit within the chain, but I think it could live again. Roar is totally done. It's a wood coaster, and it is not economical to move those. So the trains could move on somewhere else in the chain, but I think they will probably just be used for parts at the very most. Superman Ride of Steel is a funny one because it actually just got new trains this year. I think there could be life with the coaster again if they decide that it's worth their effort to move such a large ride and they can move it to another park in the chain that actually has room for it. It's a huge coaster. There's a reason why this is the only hyper coaster that's ever been cloned, because they're huge rides and they need to fit into a park's available space. So maybe it could fit somewhere else, but the trains could possibly go up to Darien Lake, or better yet, if they could work with the state of Massachusetts to get those trains running on Superman the Ride, that would be absolutely fantastic. As we all know, those trains up there are absolutely terrible. And the lap bars are a little bit different than the original T-bars. They do contain your legs a lot better than the original ones did, so maybe they could make it happen. And then finally, the wild one is their wood coaster that was moved, rebuilt in 1986. And, I don't think it has a chance either. Unfortunately, it is one of the oldest roller coasters in the world. I think the second oldest operating currently. And I think that is going to be it for it, unfortunately. It's just not economical to move wood coasters anymore. They were back in the day, but not really anymore. So that's it for Wild One, a fantastic out and back wood coaster that I'll be spending a lot of time on this year. We'll talk about the flat rides really quickly. There's a few things that I think could be salvaged. There's Screammore, there's Zamperla Discovery, there Larson Flying Scooters, brand new Zamperla Nebulous that went in last year. All those could be moved to somewhere else in the chain. And then some of the more simple, easy to main flat rides could also be moved within the chain. The kids' rides as well, stuff like that. And then over at Hurricane Harbor, they just put in a water coaster last year, so that will definitely be moved to somewhere else, as it only will have 2 seasons on it. So pretty much brand new. I'd love to see it at Dorney Park if it could fit into the old spot where the speed slides were. I feel like it was small enough that that would work there. That would be absolutely fantastic if they could do that. But anyways, I will be visiting the park on closing weekend. I don't think I can visit on closing day, unfortunately. I have a previous commitment, but we'll be making a lot of videos at Six Flags America this year. I actually have some videos from last year to post, but we'll be here this weekend and many other times throughout the year. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as there will be plenty more Six Flags America content on the channel. It's been Alex. Bye.
Oh yeah, seconds later, yeah.